The Senate will come to order. Senator Dzik.
Mr. President, I impose a call of the Senate.
The Senate is now under call. Senator Diesick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that further proceedings under the roll call be dispensed with and the Sergeant at Arms be instructed to bring in the absent members.
On that motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, will you be so kind as to stand? Today's chaplain is Reverend Jake Hawk, serving the United Methodist Church in Gray Eagle and Sauk Center, Minnesota. Needless to say, following the prayer, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Most heavenly and gracious Creator, we are gathered here today to do the work of the people of the great state of Minnesota. We ask you, Most Holy One, that your wisdom be present in the chamber today. May we shed our partisan differences, and may we keep in our minds, hearts, and souls what you would have us do. We must love one another and care for every Minnesotan as if they were our neighbor, despite the differences we might have. In this endeavor, might we consider the words of St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant it that I may not seek to be consoled, so as to console, to be understood, as to understand, to be loved, as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned. Senators, I ask that you remember this challenge this day. May love, peace, hope, and joy be the rule of the day and not the exception. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, members. The Secretary will take the roll.
Abler, Anderson, Barr, Bolden, Carlson, Champion, Coleman, Swedzinski, Dames, Dibble, Dornick, Draheim, Drazkowski, Duckworth, Diedzik, Eichhorn, Farnsworth, Fateh, Frentz, Green, Grunhagen, Gustafson, Hoschild, Herr, Hoffman, Housley, Howe, Jasinski, Johnson, Klein, Coran, Kroon, Kunish, Kupek, Lang, Latz, Liskey, Limmer, Lucero, Mann, Marty, Matthews, McQuaid, McEwen, Miller, Mitchell, Mohammed, Morrison, Murphy, Nelson, Umu Verbaten, Pappas, Pa, Port, Pratt, Putnam, Rarick, Rasmussen, Rest, Seeberger, Utke, Weber, Wiesenberg, Westland, Westrom, Wickland, Zhang.
Members, pursuant to Rule 14.1, the following members intend to vote under Rule 40.7. Draheim, Pa. Members, a quorum is present. Members, as usual, if you want to follow along, I'm looking at the Senate agenda that is dated Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. We will begin with the third order of business, messages from the House. There's a message to be read at the desk. The Secretary will read the message.
Mr. President, I have the honor to announce that the House refuses to concur in the Senate amendments to House File Number 2. House File Number 2, a bill for an act relating to employment, creating a family and medical benefit insurance program. The House respectfully requests that a conference committee of 3 members be appointed thereon. Richardson, Adelson, and Katiza-Watoon have been appointed as such committee on the part of the House. House File Number 2 is herewith transmitted to the Senate with a request that the Senate appoint a like committee. Signed, Patrick D. Murphy, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives.
Senator Mann for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate accede to the request of the House for a conference committee on House File Number 2, and that a conference committee of 3 members be appointed by the subcommittee on conference committees on the part of the Senate to act with a like conference committee appointed on the part of the House.
Members, Senator Mann moved that the Senate accede to the request of the House for a conference committee on House File Number 2, and that a conference committee of 3 members be appointed by the subcommittee on conference committees on the part of the Senate to act with a like conference committee appointed on the part of the House. To that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, we will now proceed to the 9th order of business. Motions and resolutions. We will adopt the author's motions as one motion. All in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, Senator Disick for a motion to recess.
Thank you, Mr. President. When we recess, DFL will caucus in 303. And Mr. President, I move that we have a short recess to the call of the President, hopefully around noon.
Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Republicans will also caucus up in 323 upstairs.
To Senator Disick's motions, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. The Senate is now in recess until the call of the President.